I just got back from the chiropractor and I'm a little bit worried because they told me that I have one leg a little bit longer than the other and that my hips are out of balance, and because of that I'm having back pain. So what am I supposed to do with that information? That's a great question, and I actually find this subject very interesting because the scientific literature doesn't actually agree. There's a lot of studies that say that your leg length is important, and then there's a lot of other studies that say that it's not. So it's going to take some really good clinical reasoning to figure this problem out. Well, the chiropractor showed me very clearly that my legs were uneven. I saw it myself, and he even showed me on the x-ray that my hips weren't quite at the same level. He told me that we needed to adjust it in order to bring out balance in the body in order to make my legs the same length so I wouldn't keep causing these problems over and over again. Well, let's approach this logically. Research tells us that about 90% of all people have a difference in their legs with an average of about 5 millimeters, but not everybody has pain. So if the leg length difference was actually a problem, there would be a demonstrable and predictable effect of that difference, which would be pain or symptoms. But we just don't see that. Some people have pain, some people don't, and there's no real known relationship that we can draw between the two things. So if we have someone with pain and a difference between their legs, we shouldn't automatically assume that those two things are related, and we also shouldn't assume that the leg length difference needs to be fixed in order to fix the pain, because it probably doesn't. Wait, so what you're telling me is that my chiropractor probably doesn't have to adjust my hips in order to make my legs the same length? No, that's crazy. Your chiropractor cannot fix the length of your legs. No matter how many treatments or adjustments that you do, the moment you stand up from the treatment table and start walking around, you're going to revert right back to the natural patterns of your body. But look, we don't need to focus on that because we know that pain is more related to lifestyle factors than anything else. Quality of sleep, stress levels, exercises, movements, things like that, that is where we need to start. So when you have pain, we should start building healthy habits and analyzing your lifestyle, and you're probably going to get better just with that. But if you do all the healthy changes and you still have pain, then we can analyze the length of your legs to see if it's an influencing factor. And if it is, the solution is simple. Try an orthotic, put in a little heel lift to counteract that imbalance. And that is the only known, safe, and effective way to actually treat the differences in your legs. But it's more of a last resort instead of the first treatment that we want to do. Well, why would the chiropractor tell me all this if it probably isn't relevant to my case? Well, let me ask you a question. When you learned this, did you get scared? Were you worried that unless you did the treatment, you were going to constantly get worse? You felt like it was outside of your hands, wasn't it? That you had to go to the therapy or else you were just going to be in pain for the rest of your life. Yes, that's exactly how I felt. And honestly, since that visit, I felt really dismayed because every time I have pain, now I feel like it's just the way my body is and it's outside of my control. Well, that's your answer because it's marketing. When you are made to feel like your body is broken and that the only solution is to go for chiropractic treatment, for example, you're probably going to pay a lot more money and do a lot more treatment. But it's not necessary because that's not how healthcare should be. A good therapist should empower you to form healthy habits and take care of your health. We shouldn't be so focused on those little details that we forget the big picture. Because in reality, your body is really strong and your body has a huge capacity to adapt to change. So when you are healthy and you have healthy habits and a healthy lifestyle, having your hips a little bit out of place isn't a trauma big enough to cause problems because you will adapt to it. So we should always be focusing on the big picture, make sure we have healthy habits and a healthy lifestyle, and don't stress so much on those little details that are more distractions and they're more stressors than they are solutions. Yeah, that makes total sense. And honestly, after talking about it and understanding it, I'm not so worried anymore. I know that my health is in my hands and it's not outside of my control and not to be blamed on my spine or my hips. So I'm gonna make those lifestyle changes that you recommended. And of course, I'm gonna keep following you on all social media platforms at the Skeptic Chiro.